Live from Schellenberger Field, you're watching men's soccer on LHSN. It's the final night of the regular season, and a lot riding on this matchup between the University of Lynchburg and Bridgewater College. Starting with the Eagles of Bridgewater, win, and you are in. Currently the number 8 team in the ODAC standings. If you lose, that's where things can get interesting. Currently about to get underway. Hampton-Sydney at Eastern Mennonite tonight. If Bridgewater falls short, the winner of that match will more than likely take over that final spot in the conference standings. Here are some of the numbers coming into the matchup. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lynchburg, currently the number 2 seed in those standings, and they're locked into a top 2 seed, but maybe with some help from Virginia Wesleyan, who currently trails Washington Lee 1-0, just about to start the second half there. But if Virginia Wesleyan can create and overcome that 1-goal deficit and Lynchburg wins, they then become the number 1 seed in the ODAC. So certainly a lot on the line tonight, and on top of it, it's senior night here at Lynchburg, celebrating the class of 2022. And that brings about a couple of new starters into the starting lineups. We'll talk about that here in a moment. First, lots of talent out on the pitch. Let's give you some players to watch. David Franco, team best 6 goals on the year for Bridgewater, transfer from Blue Ridge Community College, had the 1 goal in a 2-1 loss in overtime at the hands of Virginia Wesleyan. And on the other side, we got to talk about Nick Foley, grad student, member of the PA program here at Lynchburg, and one of just 3 active members on this Lynchburg roster that has a career win against Bridgewater. They came all the way back in 2017, just over 4 years ago. Between the posts tonight for the Eagles, freshman from Alexandria, Virginia, Charles Swinefuss, currently 5th in the ODAC in saves with 56, a goal against average at 1.33. And on the other side, it's Justin Ennis, senior from Gainesville, Virginia, 7th start of the season, 10th game played, 1.26 goal against average, 17 saves, and he was one of those seniors honored before the match. And, of course, you got to talk about the coaches for both these teams. Into his 11th season, it's Ryan Bennison. When he got hired, Bridgewater was averaging 4 wins per season. Since his hire 11 years ago, they've averaged 8. So, obviously, a big turn upwards for Bridgewater. And on the other side, 19th-year head coach Chris Yeager, the former Tennessee Volunteer, 2016 ODAC Coach of the Year, and obviously the man at the helm for Lynchburg when they won the ODAC last spring. The stage is set. We are underway. And we'll get ready to show you the starters for tonight's matchup. Senior Joey Daly sends it out towards the middle of the field. There's the Bridgewater starting 11. A couple of the names you want to keep your eye on throughout the rest of the match. Eric Ramirez coming off a goal, and he's making his 16th start on the year. James Jaboa, junior third-team All-Conference as well in the mix for Bridgewater. And now for Lynchburg, a couple of new faces into the starting lineup, including Michael Rendon, senior, making his 5th career start, and another senior, Patrick Bakunis, his first ever collegiate start. Bridgewater possessing on the near side. This is Luke Stubbs trying to play it back towards Caleb Needle. Center of the pitch, played back towards the back line by Josh Gilliam. Eagles trying to reverse it. Lynchburg creates the turnover, gives back to Griffin Phillips, 2-year starter and another senior in the starting lineup tonight for the Hornets. Looking long for Bakunis, can't win the possession. Instead, lofted away by the Eagles. Able to connect on a long ball forward. Pass right at the top of the box one more time. Chipped up and over the post. Shot coming from just about the 12. Looks like Simon Brune taking that last shot for Bridgewater. Junior from Manassas, Virginia. His goal and assist on the season, both coming against York earlier in the year. Pass from Daly, a touch too strong. Bakunis does a good job keeping possession with Lynchburg. Swings out wide. This is Mega. Race to the end line. Tries to center it up for Robles. Lagana instead gets his foot on it. and pops it up over the goalpost. So a couple of chances for both these teams. Here's a look at the run once again for the Hornets. Nice ball from Mega. Had Robles and Lagana. Slight miscommunication. Ultimately, it's Lagana not putting his best foot forward and sailing the shot over the post. Carter Averett pushes far up the field. Has Mega. Backheeled from one junior to another. Again, looking for Lagana. And cleared away by Parker Richard, sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Started all 10 games last spring for Bridgewater, and he has made his 16th start of this season. So again, final night of the regular season. Washington and Lee and Virginia Wesleyan got underway at 6 o'clock. The rest of the ODAC with first touches set for 7 o'clock. So as this game continues to progress, as will the rest of the conference, and we will give you updates as things unfold across the ODAC. Luke Stubbs tries to carry the offense by his lonesome. It's played all the way back to Justin Ennis. Bombs it ahead towards Mega. Touched a couple times off the head, then the shoulder of Caleb Needle. Bridgewater able to win possession. Lynchburg all-time 18-8-1 against Bridgewater. The last time these two teams took center stage against one another was a 2-2 tie in 2019. Going back to two meetings prior to that, both came in 2018, and they were both Bridgewater shutouts, 1-0 and 2-0 in the first meeting. Last time that Lynchburg was able to best the Eagles, October 7th, 2017. Again, only 3 players on this current Lynchburg roster were active that night. That includes Nick Foley, Kyle Gallagher, who's not suited up tonight, and Bailey Kearns. Eric Ramirez wins possession. Eagles try to center it up. Now going out wide. The pass for Martinez. Now brought back in by Matthew Scheller, junior from Virginia, and a transfer from Concord University. Well defended by Phillips, cleared away by Foley. Two very experienced players making up that middle of a 4-man back line for Lynchburg. Plenty of playing experience out on the wings, too, with Seth Dale and Joey Daly. But with Foley and Phillips, very solid veteran leadership, seeing the entire field and coordinating throughout the rest of the pitch. Pass complete to Mega. Looks right, now plays back to the junior Seth Dale, coming from Chesterfield, Virginia. Started all 16 games this year for the Hornets. Mega gets past the defender. Tries to cross. Flying in, the header. And a big stop from Schweinfuss. Looked like Bakunis was able to get a head on it. Nearly collected his first goal of the season. Possession stays with Lynchburg. In the attacking third, Dale forced to retreat some ground. Sees it through Rendon. It's Foley. Back to the near side. That's where we've seen Lynchburg operate for a majority of the early goings. Another ball inside the box, this time looking for Rendon, headed away by the Eagles. Coming tonight, Lynchburg 6 consecutive W's. And even looking at a broader time stretch, over the last 9 matches, 5 shutouts. No easy task, but Lynchburg has been clicking on all cylinders. And also, by the way, during that 6-match win streak, every match that was played, of course, you have to factor in a 1-0 win against Shenandoah. That was a forfeit from Shenandoah due to COVID-19 protocols. Every other match played during that win streak, Lynchburg netting at least 2 scores. So the offense looks good. The defense playing at a high level. All good for the current number 2 seed in the ODAC standings. Bakunis over to Mega. Equivalent to the 12. Tries to bend it near side post. Looks like Schweinfuss was able to get a hand on it. He nets another save. But it results in a corner kick on the way. Here's another look at the save from the freshman. Mega can put just about any amount of spin on that shot, and he's tough to defend. But a big stop there for Bridgewater. Mega takes another rip just inside the 18. This one right at the freshman keeper, and a little bit easier of a save to be made for Schweinfuss. Charles Schweinfuss, 14 starts on the season. Save percentage just under 78% entering the match. Needle on the near side. Feels the pressure from Robles. Looking forward for Martinez. Pass is broken up. Averett has Mega, who gives right back to Averett. Taken away by Martinez. And the senior Michael Rendon, again making just his 5th collegiate start, takes it right back for Lynchburg. So we talked about the recent slate for Lynchburg. The other side, Bridgewater coming off a 2-1 loss in double overtime on senior day against Virginia Wesleyan. Before that, topped Guilford 2-1. And dating back even before that, a pair of ties and a loss over the 3 games prior to the match against Guilford. Ball was live for a while, right around the 12-yard mark. Daly tries to keep the possession alive. Carter Averett with the left foot. Tests Schweinfuss again, but the freshman with yet another diving stop for Bridgewater. Charles Schweinfuss has been tested over and over through about 9 minutes of play so far. This time the shot comes from Averett. Yet another save for Schweinfuss. Joey Daly on the far side corner. Bends it just outside the 6. Carter Averett took the shot. Lynchburg lobbying for a handball inside the box. Obviously that would then result in a prime scoring opportunity. Instead, they'll say it deflected off a different body part of a Bridgewater defender and out across the end line. So instead, another corner on the way. So instead of a potential penalty kick, it's a corner chance. Robles right at the net, punched away by Schweinfuss. Dale sends it to the 18. Foley over to Mega with the left foot. It finds the back of the net. There goes that man again. Luke Mega, his 8th on the year. Great job from Seth Dale keeping the possession alive. And when Mega gets that close, no matter how good you are playing to start a match, you would be very fortunate to come away with yet another save against Mega there. First team All-ODAC last year for Mega, and he's certainly putting together a good case. Be right back in the mix this year. Like I said, 8 goals to go along with 3 assists. He's now got 19 points on the season. So it's a 1-0 lead for Lynchburg. And pressure mounts for Bridgewater. Win and they're in the postseason. Lose, and you have opened the door for Hampton-Sydney or Eastern Mennonite to take that final playoff spot. Possession stays with Lynchburg. Averett plays back to Foley. Grad student carries forward, has Daly. Good pass from Pacunas. Daly sends it towards the box, cleared away by Bridgewater along the near sideline. The assist on the goal went to Nick Foley. That's his 2nd helper on the year. Lagana at the 18, nutmegs his defender to get past Needle. And a 2nd defender in the area steps up, clears it away. Lynchburg gives it all the way back to Justin Ennis. Everett battles with Brunn. Gives back to Phillips. Ramirez draws the attention of Mega and Rendon. Third defender in the form of Joey Daly. Pokes it away. Now Daly with a step-on needle. Centers it up. Rolls past Bakunis. So nothing doing on the run for the Hornets. And then again, jocks with Ramirez. Ramirez able to keep it with Bridgewater. Early 7-1 shot advantage for the Hornets. Martinez tries to thread the needle. Unable to do so. Kunis' pass off the mark. And coming in today, Lynchburg, a team that was 7th in the conference in shots, 208 on the year. And I think it speaks to a play style for Lynchburg that we've seen normally throughout the year. Now today out to a hot start, already 7 shots as I mentioned, but very possession-oriented team. They want to keep it in the midfield. They're comfortable reversing along the back line. And they try to pick and choose their moments with the ever-dangerous Robles, Lagana, Mega, Bakunis as a reserve today as a starter. And plenty of other players in the mix, Liam Lovell. And on the other side, Bridgewater came of the day 5th in the conference in shots, 235. But with 2 less scores in the year, 34 for the Hornets, 32 for the Eagles. So we'll see if this offensive track meet for Lynchburg continues or eventually they settle back into a possession-oriented style. Pass just a step ahead of Bakunis. Schweinfuss steps up, ends the run for Lynchburg. Just over 31 minutes left in the first half. Ramirez with it. Pass was deflected initially, looking for Luke Stubbs. Stubbs able to get it right back. Pass deflected by Mega. Picked up by Eric Ramirez. But he can't get past the second defender in the form of Joey Daly. So sustained possession for Bridgewater. No shot to go with it. The Eagles look to respond. Down 1-0. Goal from Luke Mega came in the 11th minute if you're just joining us. Satdale steps up. He'll be called for a foul. So now scoring opportunity on a set-piece chance for Bridgewater of the free kick from well beyond the 18. 2-player wall. Bridgewater stacks the 18. Becomes by far the best scoring chance we've seen from the Eagles, looking for the equalizer. Finds a foot of a Lynchburg defender at the 12. Deflected away a few different times, and ultimately with Brennan Lagana carrying it out of the Lynchburg defensive third, flipping it ahead. It's now with Mega in positive territory once again. Lynchburg right back where they've been for the majority of this contest. Rendon feels some pressure from Ramirez, plays it back to Foley. The top of the attack and applying the most pressure with the press is Matthew Scheller. 3 goals, 1 assist for the junior so far this season. Hornets try to play direct. The attempt unsuccessful. Back with Bridgewater in positive territory. Coming into the year, Bridgewater picked to finish 9th in the conference poll, while Lynchburg picked to finish 2nd. That's currently where they stand in the ODAC standings. Daly looks long, has Mega. And Mega had Richard right on his hip, popped it up. Schweinfuss gobbles it up. It's a cool fall night here in Lynchburg. 54 degrees or thereabout at first touch. The feels like at 52, maybe a touch underneath it now. Ramirez, good spin, creates some space for himself. The space quickly fades away. Lynchburg's defense comes away with yet another stop. So to bring up the weather, a little bit different conditions than what we've seen this Lynchburg team play in previously here on Schellenberger Field. Just about every other home match, it's been pretty warm and the remnants of summer. A strike. This is everyone. Robles was trying to create either for himself or with Lagana moving forward with a head of steam down the middle of the pitch. Regardless of what Robles was looking for, nothing was there. Trevon Phillips just checked in for Bridgewater, junior from Woodbridge, Virginia. Had both his goals this year in a 2-2 tie against Hampton-Sydney. Which, speaking of Hampton-Sydney, that's the most recent of the 6 consecutive wins for the Hornets, 2-0 this past Saturday. Scheller comes charging in. Can't handle him on the first touch. Martinez out wide. Shot from Ramirez. Deflected a few times, and the Eagles miss on the equalizer chance. That's one that Simon Brunn is going to want back. Junior from Manassas, Virginia. It's a tough shot, no doubt about it, as he's going for the rebound chance right as the ball is coming in his direction. That's a tough shot to take because we'll try to stay on top of the ball. Otherwise, it's really easy to have it sail up and over the net. Brown was able to stay on top of it, just left it wide right.
Into the game for the Hornets, number 19, Bailey Kearns, and number 20, Manzi Shalita.
Some normal starters for Lynchburg checking in. That last dead ball, including Manzi Shalita and Bailey Kearns. Sophomore and senior, respectively. Daly creates some space for himself. Has it kicked away for a moment. Kearns to the loose ball. Lost his footing. Ultimately, it's Bridgewater taking it back. Kearns called for the foul from behind as Martinez hits the turf. Another set piece coming for Bridgewater. Outside the attacking third, but still a chance. It looks like Phillips might be the one to take. Instead, it's actually going to be Brunn once again. And you can see Kearns just tugging the jersey from behind. Don't like being called for a foul, but it puts Lynchburg in a spot now where they can set up their defense and load the box just like Bridgewater is. And excuse me, it actually is not Brunn. James Yaboa, junior from Woodbridge, at the ball. Now gives way to Brunn. Bridgewater keeping me on my toes. Hoping to have the same effect against Lynchburg. Just over 25 minutes left in the first half. Brunn, good ball. Sails over everybody. Looked like the intended target was Luke Stubbs, 6'2 senior. Certainly has the frame. Somebody go up and get a head on it. Bridgewater can't get a shot off. And it's off the goal kick. Likes to feed through the back line. I think that's something that Lynchburg's done well as the year goes on. But, of course, that brings about Ramirez creating the turnover, trying to bend it home with the left foot. Shot is wide. Instantaneous pressure created by the Eagles. Ramirez nearly did it all by himself. Phillips able to be big enough, make that shot as difficult as can be from just outside the 18. And, of course, it comes at poor timing, as I was saying. Lynchburg has been doing a better job at being able to play through the back line, across the midfield, and getting it up to the forwards. Now Ennis just bombs it away, looking for Monzi Shalita. Instead finds the head of Parker Richard. Shalita does pick up the loose ball. Very impressive sophomore. Coming from Fairfax, Virginia. 16th game played. 1 goal, 5 assists on the season for Shalita. It's Mega, the goal scorer tonight for Lynchburg. Trying to get past Phillips. Works right. Lays it off for Kearns. He takes the shot, and it finds the face of Richard. Rebound look for Robles, misses tall. A lot to keep up with, so here's the replay. Mega tries to feed Kearns and just couldn't quite handle it on the first touch. And then Robles, like we were just talking about on the rebound look that Simon Brunn left wide right for Bridgewater. It's tough to keep that shot down. You got to get your foot on top of it as you're letting it rip. And letting it rip here is Luke Mega, rolling it right towards Schweinfuss. So another save for the freshman keeper. And if Robles was able to net that second score, it firmly put Lynchburg in the driver's seat. You already say that the Hornets are likely there. They've had the edge in possession, but that's not to say Bridgewater hasn't been able to create some chances. On the season, Lynchburg undefeated at home, 6-0-1. The tie came against CNU in their second home match of the season. 1-1 final score against the Captains. Then ranked the number 22 team in the country. Dale gives back to Phillips. Lays it off for Ennis. Parlays it ahead for Foley. And Lynchburg playing it patient. Moving across the back line. Forcing Luke Stubbs at the top of the press for Bridgewater. Play a little bit more sideline to sideline. Ultimately, it rolls all the way back to Bridgewater keeper Schweinfuss. 30 saves the last 6 matches for the freshman from Northern Virginia. 3 shutouts so far this season. Javon Phillips, the first to it. Clears it all the way back into Lynchburg territory. So Bridgewater enters 6-6-2 on the season, 2-3-2 in ODAC play. Lynchburg 11-4-1 on the year, 7-1 inside ODAC action. The 1 loss at the hands of Washington and Lee. They've actually lost the Generals twice this season, counting half their losses. The first in overtime in a non-conference meeting between the two teams. 2-1 final score. Washington and Lee at the time was the number 11 team in the country. Then met later this season in conference play, again at Washington and Lee. 3-1 final score there, and Washington and Lee was the number 1 team in the country at the time of the meeting. Pass intended for Shalita, taken away by Alex Martinez, making his 12th start of the season tonight. Give us to Phillips. Give and go between the junior and Luke Stubbs. Phillips just able to get past Averett. They'll say last touch by Phillips. It was close. The AR signals towards Ennis for a goal kick. So in the opening minutes, it was an early 7-1 shot advantage for Lynchburg. That margin now at 11-5. Hornets still on top of the Eagles. And checking into the match is our Bridgewater player to watch, David Franco. 6 goals, 3 assists this year for the freshman from Culpeper, Virginia. And he played against Virginia Wesleyan for the first time in a 4-match hiatus. So a welcome addition back into the mix for the Eagles. Franco kicks it over to Gillum. Or Gilliam, I beg your pardon. Stubbs brings it towards the center of the pitch, looking ahead. Won't be able to get the pass all the way through, looking for Stubbs. Nick Foley kicks it over to Daly. I was talking to Nick Foley earlier today. In his first year with the Physician's Associate program at Lynchburg. He was a bio major. Or it's 4 years as an undergrad with the Hornets. And he's telling me a little bit about their daily regimen. 8 to 5 every day but Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, they have classes. They go through about 7 in a day. And then on Tuesday, they have a simulator of sorts where students work in groups of 4s and treat patients, essentially, through different various situations that may come arise. Lagana trying to create for the Lynchburg offense. Has it deflected off the leg of Phillips and across the end line. So another corner inbound for Lynchburg. Be the fourth in the night for Lynchburg. Robles will take from the near side. Right-footed striker. Tends to play it right at the 6-yard box. He does so here. Headed in by the aforementioned Nick Foley. Here is our Lynchburg player to watch. He's one of 3 active members on the roster with a career win against Bridgewater, and he moves the Hornets ahead 2-0. Great ball from Robles, and Foley has been fantastic on those set pieces all season long. 4th goal of the year for Foley. He had the assist on the mega goal earlier. And speaking of assists, Kenny Robles gets one from the corner, his 3rd of the campaign. Hornets ahead 2-0. And now we look towards the rest of the conference. It's a 1-1 game for Virginia Wesleyan against Washington and Lee. If WNL were to fall at the hands of the Marlins and Lynchburg were to win, the Hornets would then become your number 1 seed in the ODAC. And meanwhile, the other match we want to keep our eyes on is Hampton-Sydney at Eastern Mennonite. It's about 15 minutes, I beg your pardon, left in the first half, scoreless at EMU. We have a player down. This is Trevon Phillips being tripped up by Manzi Shalita, and then also making contact with another Hornet on the tail end of the play. Phillips is down on the pitch. 16th game played this year for Phillips, native to Woodbridge, Virginia. 3rd time this match already we've seen Lynchburg call for the foul. The Bridgewater in positive territory, creating set-piece opportunities. And again, it's going to be Simon Brunn to take. 1-player wall in front of Brunn. It's Joey Daly. 7 other Eagles inside the 18. Headed toward the post and missing wide left. Looks like coming up from the back line. Getting ahead on it was number 16, Oscar Garcia, freshman from Franklin County, Virginia. No goals yet this season. Does have an assist that came against Regent. Flicked forward. Schweinfuss is there waiting. A little over 16 minutes left in the first half. 2-0 Lynchburg. So now to run you through some of the hypothetical scenarios if this score were to say hold. We've already talked about if Lynchburg wins and Washington and Lee were to lose to Virginia Wesleyan, then Lynchburg moves up to the number 1 spot in the conference. And for Bridgewater, as the Eagles make it into the attacking third, led by Ramirez. Near side, it's Franco. Can't get past Daly. Draws a second defender, Luke Mega. Franco gives back to Phillips. Gives ahead. Brunn backheels it right to Justin Ennis. But now to continue my point, Bridgewater were to come up short tonight. The winner of the Hampton-Sydney Eastern Mennonite match is your new number 8 seed. Now where things get even more interesting is if that game were to say end in a tie. Loss for Bridgewater, tie for Hampton-Sydney. They tied earlier this season against Bridgewater, so you get into another tiebreaker there. But if it ends in a tie, Bridgewater loses, that would eliminate Eastern Mennonite. So if you're an EMU fan, you need the Royals to win, Bridgewater to lose. If you're a Hampton-Sydney fan, you really want to win that game against EMU and see Bridgewater come up short tonight. Meanwhile, if you're a Washington and Lee fan, you want to hold on to that number 1 seed. Well, it starts by taking care of business. Looks like that match into the 80th minute, still 1-1 out at Virginia Wesleyan. Or if you're a Hornets fan, you're rooting for Virginia Wesleyan to hand W&L their first loss of the season and have Lynchburg hold on to move into that number 1 seeded position. Again, I'll give updates from around the conference as this match continues. Kearns gets ahead on it. He scored multiple times. He was in the noggin. This time leaves it wide left of the post. Sam Franklin checks in for Bridgewater. He comes on for Luke Stubbs. And actually expanding upon the conference standings talk, Lynchburg currently 1 point back, so if the Washington Lee Virginia Wesleyan match ends in a tie and Lynchburg wins, the Hornets will also end up as your number 1 seed in the ODAC. Lynchburg with a throw-in on the near side. Just over 13 minutes left in the opening set of 45. Lagana to play it in. He's got a strong arm. Toss towards Kern. Backheads it towards the post. Phillips gets a foot on it. Schweinfuss able to deflect it away for a moment. Stays with Lynchburg. Lagana gets past 2 separate defenders. Chips it up. Hits the left post. Lagana shows off the dribbles after he has the throw-in end up back at his feet. Big stop from Schweinfuss, then a team save as well. And this is Lagana beating 1, make it 2. While leaving the shot just a touch too far left. Another quality look, though, for the Lynchburg offense. 13 shots in the first half. And it stands right now, 7 have been on goal. Phillips looks long in the direction of Robles, just in front of Garcia. Another defender comes at Scheller, excuse me. Everett back to Foley. Pass missing wide right of Luke Mega. So Lynchburg looking for win number 7 in a row. Certainly in the driver's seat currently, up 2-0. Mega misses tall here. Junior from Glen Allen, Virginia, got scoring underway back in the 11th minute off the assist from Nick Foley. And it was Foley making it 2-0 in the 28th minute, assisted by Kenny Robles. Foley carried it far forward. Averett wanted Lagana. Can't connect on the pass. James Yaboa steps up. Picks the pass off for Bridgewater. Eagles can't do anything back in the other direction, however. We saw some runs for the Eagles in the first half of this first half. But especially after that second goal coming from Nick Foley, possession has been very one-sided, with Lynchburg dominating in that department. Beautiful pass from Foley. He has Robles. One time ahead for Mega. Kearns. Perfect amount of touch. Robles stays in. Cross the end line. Tripped up from behind. And the whistle is blown. Referee signaling for a penalty kick. Huge opportunity for Lynchburg to move ahead 3-0. We'll let you be the judge at home. Robles hits the turf. They'll call Matthew Scheller the contact from behind. There's Robles, who took the worst of that blow, and it's going to be Joey Daly to take. On a day where Lynchburg has celebrated the class of 2022, Joey Daly, a member of that senior class, has the opportunity to score his second goal on the year. The first, well, if you missed it, it was the first score of the entire season for Lynchburg against Covenant. Daly converts. Lynchburg ahead 3-0. So Daly gets his second on the season. Now up to 6 points on the year. And it looks like Schweinfuss guessed correctly. Daly just has a really strong leg, and if he's going to bend it towards the post, you have to be maybe the quickest man alive. Try to get a hand on it. Some shots there on those PKs that you just can't defend, and Daly sent one right at the freshman Bridgewater keeper. A couple of subs checking on to the pitch for Bridgewater, including Zach Jarvis and Marvin Perez, pair of freshmen, both hailing from Virginia. Winds start to pick up here in Farmville, Virginia. It's a brisk night, to say the least. About 52 degrees on the feels like at first touch. And as the day continues to wind down, imagine it's going to get a little bit colder and colder as the wind adds on top of it as well. Zach Whelan just checked in for Lynchburg as well. So both teams tapping into their reserves, and another two checking in for the Hornets. Carl Makinich comes on for Luke Mega. Brendan Lagana will check out and give way to Trevor Miller. So a big 3-0 Lynchburg lead. Less than 9 minutes to go in the first half. Lots of contact. And foul called on the play. You get into yellow is going to be Zach Jarvis. Just checked into the match. So not even a minute of playing time under his belt. Jarvis gets the yellow. Free kick coming right at the L. Lynchburg across the field. Looks like it'll be Carter Averett to take. Does have Seth Dale immediately to his right. Shalita. Perfect pass Made it past all the traffic. Griffin Phillips, though, couldn't get a body part on it and register a shot. So Bridgewater keeps it at 3-0. Bakinich flipped forward. This is Shalita having it poked away by Phillips. Sophomore stays with it. Looks out wide. Bridgewater able to bring a halt to the Lynchburg possession. Whistle blown. They're going to stop the clock. 7:32 left in the first half. Possession is going to stay with Bridgewater. Referees sort out everything that happened to cause the stoppage in the play. Now the whistle blown, and play is going to get back underway. Unsure about exactly what caused the stoppage. But a free kick just beyond midfield, sent right to Justin Innes, who steps up, gets his hands on set-piece opportunity for Bridgewater, and brings about no result for the Eagles. Currently 15-6 shot advantage for the Hornets. Makinich with Franco in front of him. Daly plays ahead. Shalita might have had it hit off his shoulder. Makinich picks it up. Can't get past Phillips. Gives to Zach Whelan, who had the game winner last week at Randolph. 2-1 final score over the Wildcats. Big road win for Lynchburg. Whistle's going to be blown to stop play. Liam Lovell checked in with Whelan. Comes up a little gimpy after trying to chase down the loose ball. Lovell's going to stay out on the pitch. Looks to be okay. He's on that right side flank. Took the spot of Kenny Robles. Daly, long ball. Just out in front of Trevor Miller. Franco works right to left. Wanted Ramirez, but left the pass just a step behind the sophomore. Bridgewater forced to send it back to Phillips. Now they go to the full reset. Yaboa out wide to Richard. On to Shalita. Feels like he's been everywhere tonight. Nearly creates the turnover right at the midfield line. Looking for Sam Franklin. Ennis steps up. Brings it into that Bridgewater possession. Less than 5.5 to go in the first half. Hornets certainly in a good position to extend that win streak up to 7 games. And an update from Virginia Wesleyan. Washington Elite now up 3-1. A couple of scores late in that match, including one from John Peterson. Moves the Generals out in front, and if Washington Elite holds on, looks like that match is at or approaching the 90th minute now. About to go official and final. And assuming the score is correct, WNL with a win clinches the number 1 seed in the ODAC. And Lynchburg guaranteed a top 2 seed entering the night. WNL winning is then locked into that number 2 position. Of course, the other match we're keeping up to date on, Hampton-Sydney at Eastern Mennonite. Still looks to be scoreless. Makinich, parallel to the 18. Works towards the middle of the field. Had Whelan in front of him. Shot was deflected. With his back to Brunn, he gives back to Dale. Junior tries to carry forward. Wanted Lovell, pass off the mark. Maybe some miscommunication between the two. And it is 0-0 at the end of the first half between Hampton-Sydney and Eastern Mennonite. So if that game ends in a tie and Bridgewater loses, which is the current stance we're in right now, it would go to another tiebreaker between Hampton-Sydney and Bridgewater for that final position in the 8-team ODAC playoffs, which will start on this upcoming Saturday. Makinich, pass broken up, looking for Lovell. Shalita takes a rip, finds the body of Brunn. Daly assisted the second goal of the night for Lynchburg. Nice play from Trevon Phillips, creating the turnover for Bridgewater. Nothing building back the other direction for the Eagles, however. Cesar Acosta subs in for Lynchburg. He comes on in the place of Carter Averett. It won't necessarily be a straight sub. It looks like Zach Whelan's actually going to fall back into that holding mid spot that Averett occupies. And then in the attacking mid position, that's where Acosta will go. Acosta really energetic reserve off the bench for Lynchburg. When we talk about fresh legs, well, Acosta is case in point the example. Shalita taken away now by Franco. Plays it back to Richard. Out wide to Garcia. Well, it's the 92nd in the first half. Can Bridgewater steal a goal late, put themselves on the scoreboard? Jarvis got the yellow card a few minutes ago. Long ball ahead in the direction of Oscar Garcia. Deflected across the far sideline by Lynchburg. Less than a minute in the first half. Wind picks up, now blowing right to left. It's been swirling all night long. Shalita absorbs some contact and earns possession for Lynchburg. And that more than likely bring an end to the final real run that Bridgewater has. We're going to find the back of the net late in the first half. And this bombs it out towards the 18 off the chest of Miller. Acosta sends a shot, or excuse me, Lovell sends a shot right at Schweinfuss. Keeper pops it up right to midfield. Ramirez gathers, but not enough time to do anything with it for Bridgewater. That will bring a close to the first set of 45. Lynchburg out in front of Bridgewater, 3-0. We'll step aside, come back, and recap first 45 minutes of play between the Hornets and the Eagles. All that and more coming to you on LHSN.
My name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I live in 5th Street, the historic black neighborhood. The money came in, transfer, scholarship, all that. I appreciate that greatly. I'm smart too. So they gave it like, you smart, here. You know what I'm saying? You come here to do a job. I came here to do a job. A student's job is to get that degree and make something of ourselves. I love the diversity here. I love the different interests of people here. I can teach somebody that doesn't know what I know, and that person can teach me something that I don't know that they know. So that's what I love about my school. They respect that and they allow us to showcase and voice our expressions. That's what you get here. You get diversity, you get different people with different knowledge coming together, sharing information and helping each other out. That's what I love. That's why I say people. I love the people here.
Get small classes, nationally recognized mentoring and advising, and a community that has your back every step of the way at the University of Lynchburg.
Be ready for anything, okay?
Come on, let's go together. Together, let's go. Come on. Let's go, keep going.
Carry this pedestrian. Straight? Straight up? Yep. Yeah. Cool. Good one. All right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here? Stay in the boat. Let's go. Camera? Oh, what you think of that? Woo!
It's 3-0 at the break. Lynchburg out in front of Bridgewater from Lynchburg, Virginia. Hornets officially the number 2 seed inside the ODAC standings as WNL comes out on top of Virginia Wesleyan. 3-1 final score at Virginia Wesleyan. So now, once we get set for the second half, things become very intense for Bridgewater. Win and they're in the postseason. Lose and you make your opportunities to get to postseason action very, very slim. Here are some of the stats from the first set of 45. It started out back and forth in the first 5, maybe 10 minutes of play. Lynchburg makes it 1-0, and especially from the 28-minute mark onward after Nick Foley made it 2-0 Hornets, it was pretty much all Lynchburg the rest of the way. So definitely some things that Coach Ryan Bennison wants to try to address before going into the second half and ultimately playing for your season in a lot of ways. So a lot on the line for the Eagles. Meanwhile, for Lynchburg, love to see more of the same carry forward in the second set of 45, and you'd love to see Lynchburg garner their 7th consecutive win to close out the regular season. We'll step aside, come back with some highlights from the first half, so don't go anywhere. Plenty more coming to you between Lynchburg and Bridgewater on LHSN.
Never think that your donation is in vain because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me who need a shot and who are getting one. Without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, you know, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Welcome back to Schellenberger Field. You're watching men's soccer on LHSN. Hornets out in front of the Eagles 3-0. Lynchburg in a spot to pick up their 7th consecutive win, and also top Bridgewater for the first time in over 4 years. Here are some of the highlights from the first set of 45. As I said a segment ago, it was back and forth early on, but then Luke Mega sets the tone, opens the scoring in the 11th minute. Good for Mega's 8th goal on the season. And second goal then came courtesy of Nick Foley. He's got 3 points in total on the night. The assist on the Foley goal came from Kenny Robles. And then in the 36th minute, it was Joey Daly on the penalty kick on your screen, making it 3-0 Bridgewater. So plenty of action. And if you're a Lynchburg fan, you're feeling very comfortable with where you are in the current moment. Up 3-0 over Bridgewater. A lot to overcome for the Eagles, though, in the second half. And it starts by creating offense on a consistent basis. Like I said, it was back and forth the first 5 to 10 minutes. There were chances for both teams. But as the match settled throughout, Bridgewater's offensive looks started to become fewer and fewer, far between. And that's going to have to be something that changes in the second half. And even a tie, if Bridgewater can get to that point, that would go a long ways to trying to get them into the postseason. Updates from around the league. Once again, Washington Lee comes out on top of Virginia Wesleyan 3-1, and that clinches W&L as the number 1 seed inside the conference standings. Randolph ahead of Ferrum 3-0. That match going into the second half now. You're here in Lynchburg. Hornets up 3-0 on the Eagles. Guilford, Roanoke tied up 1 goal each. And then the other very important match, if you are a Bridgewater fan, Hampton-Sydney, Eastern Mennonite. Second half getting underway here in a moment, and it is 0-0 at the current moment. And then to round out our ODAC scoreboard update, Randolph-Macon is ahead of Shenandoah on their senior night. 1-0, second half underway in Ashland. We'll take a pause, come back, and get you set up with everything you need to know for the second set of 45 between Lynchburg and Bridgewater, coming to you on LHSN.
you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. We're getting set for the second half of play between Lynchburg Hornets and Bridgewater. Currently the Hornets out in front of the Eagles 3-0, and Lynchburg locked into that number 2 spot inside the ODAC conference standings. They will host a quarterfinal this upcoming Saturday. Be sure to follow Lynchburg Athletics on Twitter, as well as go to lynchburgsports.com for more updates on who they will be playing. We'll know more after all the action from across the conference comes to a close tonight. It's the regular season finale. And we'll also know what time that match is going to be played on Saturday. So, again, follow Lynchburg Sports on Twitter and go to the website for those updates. But they will be playing this upcoming Saturday, playing host to the number 7 seed conference standings. Which entered today was Shenandoah, which would be a fun matchup. Lynchburg was supposed to play the other Hornets, Shenandoah, on homecoming back on October 16th, but that match forfeited due to COVID-19 protocols. Hornets with the early possession in the second half, building back and forth, and as we talked about throughout the halftime show, Lynchburg wanting to see more of the same, especially the steady progression that went about throughout the entire first half. It was even for the first 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then slowly but surely you see the goal from Luke Megg in the 11th minute. Then Nick Foley makes it 2-0 about midway through the first half. And just as those scores came along, it also signaled a sign of continued dominance and really solid play for Lynchburg. And another foul called here inside the box. Mega tripped up. And it's going to result in another penalty kick. Take another look. Mega tripped up by James Yaboa. And the freshman keeper, Charles Swinefuss, very upset. The foul call. The third of the 3 scores for Lynchburg in the first half came off a penalty kick. As Joey Daly netting his 2nd goal on the year. And now it's going to be Michael Rendon, another senior. He was in the starting 11 today, his 5th collegiate start. So on senior day, Lynchburg affording some good opportunities for their seniors to find the back of the net, and Rendon does just that. It's now 4-0. Hornets out in front of Bridgewater. First goal of the season for Michael Rendon, senior from Chesterfield, Virginia. And overall for Rendon's career, that score good for his first in his playing career. So a really special moment there for Michael Rendon. Not only first goal of the year, but his first in his Lynchburg career. Congratulations in order for Michael Rendon. He moves Lynchburg ahead 4-0 over Bridgewater. And now the last 2 goals for the Hornets coming by way of fouls in the 18, resulting in penalty kick chances for Joey Daly, Michael Rendon, both convert. So the trend is continuing for Lynchburg. Certainly in a position now to pick up their 7th consecutive win. And if the score were to hold, as there's some talking on the sideline, and assistant coach Kelly Walters has been shown the yellow card. Clock stopped with 43:35 left in regulation. So the Bridgewater bench gets the yellow. Play will get back underway momentarily. But to continue my point, Lynchburg during this 6-match win streak has scored at least 2 goals in every match played. The lone exception, of course, a part of the win streak wasn't a match played. It was the 1-0 forfeit against Shenandoah we talked about just a moment ago. But every match played in that match win streak has seen at least 2 goals find the back of the net for the Hornets. They're also in a position to pick up their 6th shutout over a 10-game span. That is certainly no easy feat to accomplish. Bridgewater certainly looking to avoid that occurrence. They'll need possession to be able to do that, and that's the big adjustment in the second half for Bridgewater. Find ways to create opportunities and have them be sustained. Don't have it be a one-and-done look where your run is here and gone in a span of 15 seconds or somewhere thereabout. Instead, create some turnovers like they nearly do in the midfield now. And try to create some sustained possessions that last for minutes upon minutes, and then results in shots on goal, goals. The snowball then creates from there on. Played all the way back. Swinefuss, excuse me. Brennan Agana picks up the loose ball. Nearly able to get past 2 defenders. Instead, kicks it over to Robles, looking for space against Garcia. Cleared away by the Bridgewater defender. Out across the near sideline. Still scoreless out at Eastern Mennonite. 0-0 between Hampton-Sydney and EMU. That match ends in a tie, and Bridgewater comes up short tonight. It'll go to another tiebreaker to decide that 8th and final spot in postseason play. Lofted up towards Joey Daly. Michael Rendon kicks forward. Now looking long. Going out of play. Carter Averett a little out of reach, being able to keep it in. 18-6 shot advantage per the scoreboard over Schellenberger Field. Official live stats, though, have it at 21-6. So an even wider disparity in the favor of Lynchburg. That shots category, if you're new to the game of soccer, or wondering why I continue to mention it, is just a good indicator for how possession has played out so far. Especially after the first 5 minutes of the match, it has been relatively one-sided. Lynchburg has been able to just about anything they want. Be patient across the back line, reverse from one end of the field to the other, live in the midfield, or go right at it on the offensive attack. Averett lays it off. Rendon looking for another. Left-footed strike. This is too far right, actually. Might have been Luke Mega who took that shot. Looked like Rendon at first. One of the two upperclassmen missing wide of the post on the last attempt. Patrick Pakunis trying to create some space for himself. Shows off some nifty footwork. And it enables Lynchburg to have possession for a few moments longer before taken away by Bridgewater. Dubois feels the pressure from two separate Hornet defenders. Ahead for Ramirez. Back to Gillum. Then lead off for Richard. Over to Schweinfuss. And Bridgewater now having some, you could say, sustained possession, but it's all been across the back line. But that's a stepping stone in the right direction if you are an Eagles fan. Seeing this team maintain possession for an extended period of time. 4 subs check in for Lynchburg. It includes Carl McInich, Liam Lovell, Zach Whelan, and Sebastian Kiro Gutierrez. They come on for Carter Averett, Luke Mega, Kenny Robles, and Joey Daly. So a chance for 19th-year head coach Chris Yeager to empty out the reserves a bit. Get some of his younger players some more playing time tonight against Bridgewater. Coach Yeager, I don't often talk about his playing career on these broadcasts, but former 4-year starter, University of Tennessee, team captain his junior and senior year, team MVP as a junior. Of course, coming at a Power 5 school, members of the SEC Conference. Then after that was an assistant coach over at Virginia Wesleyan from 1995 to 1999. Went 77, 21, and 5 this time with the Marlins. And then, of course, the rest is history. Ended up in Lynchburg and has been a huge part to a program that obviously comes with a lot of success. I mean, the field is named after Bill Schellenberger. Of course, a huge legend, the University of Lynchburg. Lots of contact and player writhing in pain just at the midfield line. And a yellow card is going to be given to Brennan Lagana. Here's the contact once again. Lagana's going hard and trips up Alex Martinez. Lagana gets the yellow. Looks like he's going to check out, and Trevor Miller is going to come on in his place. I am assuming here Miller is going to check out the next dead ball, I assume, for Lagana. Martinez looks to be okay. Is moving around. Beg your pardon, that might have actually been Johnny Maltese, sophomore from Charlottesville, who is back up and walking under his own strength. You see Miller lining up at the 18. He comes on for Lagana, as I predicted. Dubois to take the free kick just beyond the midfield line. Low liner. Right at the 18. Immediately cleared away by Lynchburg. Chipped up ahead. Miller gives chase, watches it go harmlessly across the sideline. They're going to have possession stay with the Hornets, at least for a moment. Out the flag raised and signals that it'll go to Bridgewater. Two teams vie for possession right around the midfield line now. I mentioned this a couple times now. Last time Lynchburg beat Bridgewater, October 7th, 2017. 3-0 final score, and then since then, there's a pair of losses in 2018, 2-0, then 1-0 in each encouraging consecutive order. And then last time these two teams played, it was in 2019, 2-2 tie there. Only 3 active members of this Lynchburg roster have a win under their belt against Bridgewater. That includes Kyle Gallagher, who's not between the posts tonight, Bailey Kearns, and Nick Foley, our player to watch, and the man with a goal and an assist on the night. Good slide tackle from Griffin Phillips. Slows down the Bridgewater rush. They're going to signal that it went across the end line, so a corner on the way for the Eagles. First of such occasions tonight. Simon Brunn to take. Left-footed strike, bending away from the post. Ultimately cleared away by Lynchburg. Rolls all the way back to Yaboa. Center back. Sweeps it all the way back. Schweinfuss. We're continuing that point. Only 3 active members, and that's really something to behold. I was talking to Nick Foley about it earlier today, and kind of something that caught him and I off guard. That means players like Luke Mega don't have a career win against Lynchburg. A senior like Michael Rendon, who has a goal tonight, but until the final buzzer is sounded, will not have a win against Lynchburg. That looks like it'll change tonight, of course. Another example of a player without a win against the Eagles in his career, Patrick Bakunis, another senior. So it's really interesting to see how those stretches can draw out over the length of a career. And also a ton of credit has to be given to Bridgewater. I mean, players like Bakunis and Rendon have taken on Bridgewater now 4 times. Twice in 2018, once in 2019, and of course tonight. Coach Ryan Bennison, despite a disappointing result tonight, the score stands at 4-0. Has done a really good job at the helm for this Bridgewater team. Took BC to their first ODAC championship game in 2018. Holds program record for wins. Entered tonight's play with 77 wins, 90 losses, 14 ties during his tenure at the helm for the Eagles, and has made the ODAC tournament every year but last year, and is in jeopardy of falling out of that 8 spot tonight with a loss. But we'll see. We'll have to see how that changes throughout the night, and we'll have to see the other tiebreakers that come into effect if it ends in a tie between Hampton-Sydney and EMU. Chance for Bridgewater. They're called offsides. Franco was our Bridgewater player to watch. Nearly had a chance to net number 7 on the year. The AR puts the flag up, brings an end to the run for the Eagles. 33 minutes left in regulation. Lynchburg looking to play direct. Gets it all the way up to Trevor Miller. Gets a foot on it. Pops it up. Out of play it goes. It'll stay with the Hornets. Some subs check in, including Josh Auger, sophomore from Greensboro, Virginia. He comes on for Griffin Phillips. The senior gets a solid round of applause from the crowd. And also we'll have a change between the posts. Justin Ennis, another one of those seniors, exits the pitch. The sound of applause as well. And now your new keeper for Lynchburg, number 0, Noah Gregory, junior from Baltimore, Maryland. His second game played of the season, with just over 19 minutes in a 5-0 win against Eastern Mennonite. And overall, it's just the 5th game played in the career for Gregory. Even more substitutions now coming on. Cesar Acosta back out on the pitch. He checked in late in the first half. And it looks like it might be Cameron Claremont is the other. There is no number 34 on the roster. Auger gets ahead on it. Then fields one off the shoulder from Foley. Scheller gives chase. Garcia watches it roll across the sideline just in front of Liam Lovell. It's going to be a throw in. Lynchburg on the near side. Throw in towards Miller. Lovell gets a foot on it. Nothing doing for Lynchburg, though. Alex Martinez back end of the pitch now for the Eagles. Team I talk about 11th year head coach Ryan Bennison. Talked about program record for wins with 77 coming in tonight. And I talked about at the very open of the broadcast. The time of Bennison's hire, Bridgewater was averaging 4 wins per season since the program's inception in 1990. And over the 11 years that Ryan Bennison has been the head coach, the Eagles have averaged 8 wins a season. So you already see just consistent, steady growth. And doubling that factor is huge. And that's the direction you want to see this program continue to work in. Ryan Bennison, prior to being the head coach at Bridgewater, was an assistant coach over at Anderson University for 3 years. Slide tackle from Auger. I'm going to say last touch by an Eagle. Throw-in awarded to Lynchburg. Update on that EMU match. Scoreless still, 21 minutes and counting in regulation between the Tigers and the Royals. The next dead ball, Enrique Morales, is going to come onto the pitch for Lynchburg. Sophomore gets his 3rd game played, and he comes on for Nick Foley. Foley, the grad student, now exit the pitch, and this will officially become the last regular season home game played by Nick Foley. Everything after this is ODAX, and the stars align, NCAAs in the future for the Hornets. As we mentioned, there will be at least one more home game for Lynchburg this upcoming Saturday, the quarterfinals of the conference tournament. Throw in for the Hornets, just over the head of Whelan, and it tapped in by Carl Makinich. Junior gets his first score of the year and moves Lynchburg ahead 5-0. Really nice. Looks like Whelan maybe didn't get ahead on it, but still lands perfectly at the feet of Makinich one way or another. And the Culpeper, Virginia native, able to convert. The Hornets move ahead by 5. And they are going to give the assist to Cameron Claremont instead of Whelan. First assist for Claremont. And I was able to now confirm that that is Claremont wearing 34. And this one has quickly gotten out of hand for Bridgewater. Now they are leaning heavily on the hopes of a tie between Hampton-Sydney and Eastern Mennonite. Otherwise, the loss, if either one of those two teams wins, they become your new 8th seed in the ODAC and will take on Washington Lee this upcoming Saturday in the 8-1 matchup. 128 minutes left in regulation. Whelan takes the free kick. Lofts it into the Lynchburg sky, and actually a nice play there Schweinfuss came in with one hand, snagged it with the right. Ends the run for Lynchburg. Wind continues to pick up in Lynchburg. Now seeing the fall leaves swirl around over the pitch. And, of course, also moving things across the track, starting to see players and coaches alike running up and down the sideline. One, to stay warm. Two, to get to things that just went into a drift. Bridgewater builds across the back line. Talks to you about some of the upcoming games here on LHSN. We had a volleyball match get underway at 6 o'clock tonight. Hornets fall to the CNU Captains in straight sets. Tomorrow you can see the volleyball team in action at 6:30. Senior Day playing host to Hollins. And also being streamed tomorrow night is the field hockey team taking on Virginia Wesleyan. That match will get underway at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then we get into postseason play. Of course, men's soccer quarterfinals set for Saturday. And then the potential women's soccer quarterfinals next Tuesday. The men's soccer semis, if it were to be played here in Lynchburg, would be next Wednesday. Field hockey semifinals would be on Thursday the 4th. And then, this is an exciting thing to say on air, we reach basketball season. Friday, November 5th, the home opener, women's basketball team. We have made it to that point of the year. Crossover seasons are a lot of fun. It's the postseason time for all the fall sports. And then, as I mentioned, basketball gets underway. Women's basketball playing host to Averett. That'll be a really fun one to watch. Hope to have you with us. Tip-off set for 6 o'clock. That's more than a week away, though. So I'll remind you up until that point. Obviously, hope to have you with us for as many of these LHSN broadcasts as possible. A lot of fun to watch. As different teams have their stories unfold, and obviously helps a lot of really high caliber teams. Men's soccer, you're getting to see them tonight. As it stands right now, the women's soccer program at the top of the ODAC standings. And the field hockey team no longer ranked, but certainly one of the best teams that the ODAC has to offer, and certainly vying for a position to not only win the conference tournament, but potentially, even if they don't, still make it to the NCAA tournament. 25 minutes left in regulation. Claremont's going to take the short corner of sorts. One-player wall in front of Claremont. Finds the head of Makinich. Junior can't net his second score on the night. Instead misses up and over the post. Michael Rendon's going to check out. And on in his spot is Josiah McCaskill, sophomore and Virginia Commonwealth native. Caskill has one goal in the year, and it came against Eastern Mennonite in a 5-0 point in the game. One of the final moments and plays from that match, McCaskill had this terrific score. Sized up his defender as Ramirez looks to do the same for Bridgewater. Backtracks now outside the 18. Charging in, Bridgewater breaks the shutout. And just like that, the Eagles enter the scoring column and make it 5-1. It was ricocheted all the way back out to Josh Gilliam. And the junior from Angler, North Carolina, finds his second goal on the year. The previous score came against Randolph. So it's now 5-1, so we won't see Lynchburg get their 6th shutout over a 10-game span, but still 5 over a 10-match period. Still very impressive. They're certainly still in a spot to extend that win streak up to 7 and pick up their first win against Bridgewater in a little over 4 years. Now a red card comes out. And frustrating circumstances continue to mount for Bridgewater. Officials come over to the sideline looking to settle the bench. And the card was awarded to Josh Gilliam, who just scored for Bridgewater. So that'll end the night for the junior. Checking out with 23-27 left on the game clock. It'll be a free kick for Lynchburg in positive territory with Josh Auger hovering over the ball. Still waiting for play to get back underway. Didn't see exactly what happened. Gilliam to be given the red. And it comes moments after Gilliam puts Bridgewater in the scoring column. Referee still trying to sort through some of the chaos, and now play back underway as Liam Lovell sends it back to Schweinfuss. And the freshman booms it into the night sky. Another update for our Bridgewater viewers and fans. Less than 12 minutes left in regulation between Hampton City and Eastern Mennonite. Still no score. So the postseason hopes are still alive for the Eagles despite being down 5-1. Whelan looks long. McCaskill gets a head down on it. Going back a few minutes ago, I was talking about Josiah McCaskill's goal against EMU. And it really was a thing of beauty. If you want to go back, and you can see it on LHSN YouTube channel that you're watching this live stream on. Go back to the top plays of September. It was there towards the top. McCaskill broke to his right and had it bend towards the far side corner and just barely snuck it home. It really was a thing of beauty, and it was a good way to cap off a strong showing against the Royals. 5-0 victory for Lynchburg, and that was in their conference opener. Corner kick on the way for the Hornets. Cesar Acosta out to the far side post. Sends it to the 6. Morales will get the assist. Lynchburg moves ahead 6-1. Great ball from Acosta. Found the foot of Morales. And whether it was a shot or a pass, it was sent towards the opposing post. And Zach Whelan able to convert, and the sophomore from Maryland gets his third goal on the year. The assist from Morales, his first point of the season. And we're actually going to see a keeper change here as the very frustrated Charles Schweinfuss will exit the match. And junior from New York, Delaware, Tyler Deutsch will come on in his spot. Six game played for Deutsch, 16 saves, 76.2% save percentage on the year, 1.46 goal against average. So right after Bridgewater breaks the shutout, Lynchburg gets the goal right back. And again, lead by 5-goal differential. It's been all Lynchburg all night long. Claremont brings it right at the midfield line. Now it's Lovell bringing it forward into positive territory. Over to Acosta. Takes the contact from behind from Marvin Perez. Bridgewater able to clear it. Possession stays with the Hornets, however. And assuming the score holds, Lynchburg will finish the regular season undefeated at home. What a huge advantage that is once you get into postseason play, including Saturday, hosting the quarterfinal. If they win, almost certainly then going to host a semifinal matchup on Wednesday of next week. And then WNL is knocked off and upset in the tournament. Looking at a spot where on Saturday, November 6th, Lynchburg is hosting the ODAC championship game for the second year in a row. And what a huge advantage that would be. Hornets likely going to finish the regular season 7-0-1 at home. And going even bigger picture, here in the fall, we've only seen one program lose a game at home. That was the women's soccer team that did that twice. 1-0 defeats at the hands of Virginia Wesleyan and Bridgewater. Hornets back in the attacking third. Long pass sent towards the far side post. Goes out. They'll say last touch by an Eagle. Luke Boyce is going to come on, senior from Gainesville, Virginia. The second of the two subs. Being number 24, Davis Hamilton, or Hallman, excuse me, I beg your pardon. Hallman, a junior from Wrightstown, New Jersey. Hallman, first game played this year. And just the second for Boyce, prior coming against EMU in that 5-0 victory over the Royals. Claremont looking for space. Tries to pass forward for Hallman. Deflected away by Bridgewater. Morales, or excuse me, Quiroz Gutierrez pops it up and over the net. Ninth game played this year for the freshman coming from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Cleared away by Morales. Throw on the near side. Coming from Lestath Savage. He actually then gives way to a teammate, Garcia. On the receiving end of the throw-in. Gives back to Richard, over to Yaboa. And Lynchburg takes it right back, and that's ultimately been the story of the match. Bridgewater had a hard time maintaining possession. It's hard to score with the ball not at your feet. And Lynchburg has not only been able to create a lot of chances, they've created a lot of really good looks. And sometimes you'll see teams, after they start giving up a lot of looks, start to pack in the box and fill up a ton of numbers inside the 18 and just crowd that area, make it very congested. But wasn't fully what Bridgewater decided to do. So the open opportunities came with ample space, and Lynchburg was able to convert. The sound of 6 goals on the night. Wilson Bowles just checked in. And if there's a throw-in, you will be in for a treat. Bowles puts on quite the show. Good ball ahead from Boyce. Quiroz Gutierrez then gives back to the senior. Pass deflected away by Bridgewater and cleared across the far sideline. Just under 15 and a half minutes left in regulation. Head around by a few different Eagle defenders. Rolls all the way out towards midfield. Savage gave chase. Unable to pick it up. Instead, Morales over to Boyce. Lynchburg looking to extend their lead. Claremont's going to be called offside. Near side AR. Missed in the scoring. Here's your recap. All got underway with Luke Megan in the 11th minute. Then it was Nick Foley converting for the 4th time this year. That came in 28th minute. Then Joey Daly on a penalty kick. Made it 3-0 Lynchburg. 36th minute. The start of the second half in the 47th. Michael Rendon collected his first collegiate goal off a penalty kick. Cesar Acosta was then able to find Carl Makinich in the 62nd. Make it 5-0. Lynchburg out in front. Eagles were able to get a goal on the board coming from Josh Gilliam. That was in the 67th. 2 minutes later in the 69th, it was Zach Whelan. As it stands right now, getting credit for the goal and the assist from Trevor Miller. Carl Hare picks up loose ball for Lynchburg, and the Hornets work across the end line. Got opportunity late in the match, work on the communication, and what goes into those full field reverses from one end of the pitch to the other. Quiroz Gutierrez keeps possession with Lynchburg as he was able to beat 2 separate Eagle defenders. The shot deflected away. Good clear there from Bridgewater. Sent it out towards the midfield line, able to keep it in. Take away the throw-in chance for the Hornets. Good spin move for Morales. Boyce has it poked away. Going down some of the rest of the stats from this match. At the current moment, 27-7 shot advantage for Lynchburg. 12 shots on goal for the Hornets, just 1 for the Eagles. 6 saves so far tonight for Bridgewater, none for Lynchburg, but that's been a good thing. There have been a whole lot of times that the Hornets defense overall has dealt a ton of pressure. Even the goal from Gilliam, I beg your pardon, came very quickly in the span of less than a full minute of offensive buildup. 5-1 corner advantage for Lynchburg. And both teams have one offside. Some more subs for both teams, including Alex Durstein. Now going to be your keeper for the Hornets, coming on for Gregory. Savage checks out. Luke Stubbs comes back on in his place for Bridgewater. Also re-entering the match is senior Sam Franklin. Durstein, a freshman from Wake Forest, North Carolina. And this officially becomes the first game played in Durstein's college career. So congratulations to Alex. And Coach Chris Yeager taking advantage of the opportunity to empty out his bench. Boyce got past 2 defenders. Picked up by a third, however. Franklin had it at his feet. Acosta watches the pass sail by. Claremont sends it out towards the 12. No one's home. Auger takes it off the chest. Looks to keep possession with the white and black. Acosta instead sees Ian LaValle get by him. 15th game played for LaValle, senior from Alexandria, Virginia. Has a goal this year. Came against Southern Virginia. and part of a 7-0 victory for Bridgewater. That was in their first win of the season. Run back to Yeboah. Lynchburg has all 11. The defensive half of the pitch. Less than 10 minutes to go in regulation. This game all but over to this point. Lynchburg's going to improve to 12-4-1, 8-1 in conference play, and make it 7 consecutive wins to round out the regular season. Meanwhile, Bridgewater's going to fall to 6-7-2, 2-4-2 in ODAC play. Pass goes to Acosta. Works back to the midfield. Auger. Over to Boyce. Carl Hare back to Auger. Quiroz Gutierrez works towards the 18. Gets past the defender. Draws the attention of Needle. And the senior from Frederick, Maryland, able to halt the run for the Hornets. Needle in the starting lineup again tonight, his 7th start of the year. Now up to 51 careers game played and 22 starts in his time at Bridgewater. Brun with some space, kicks it out wide. Bridgewater then tries to center it back up. Ball goes out on the far sideline. Throw in coming for Bridgewater. This is a Bridgewater team that went 1-7-2 last year. That was the lone exception to Gudrine Benison's tenure and time as the head coach, making the ODAC tournament every year but last year, and are in jeopardy of not making it again this season. But to go from 1-7-2 last year, 0-6-2 in conference play, and improve to 6-7-2 this season, assuming the loss goes final in 7.5 minutes, and then a conference record at 2-4-2, I'd say that's a step back in the right direction for Bridgewater as they look get back to their 2018-like ways when they were in the ODAC championship game. Acosta over to Quiroz Gutierrez. Needle again pokes it away. That's been a fun matchup towards the end of this match. Quiroz Gutierrez versus Needle. Lofted towards Carl Hare. He takes it off the chest, stepping up. Deutsch gobbles up the loose ball for Bridgewater. Take this opportunity to update you on some scores from around the rest of the conference. Talked about 3-1 final score, Washington Lee over Virginia Wesleyan, making sure the Generals clinch their number 1 seed. Randolph out in front of Ferrum, 5-1. Looks like that game has just gone final. Wildcats topping the Panthers. 6-1 here in Lynchburg with the Hornets over the Eagles. Out in Roanoke, Guilford falling at the hands of the Roanoke Maroons, 4-1. And now in overtime, Hampton, Sydney, and Eastern Mennonite still scoreless. Looks like they just started the first set of 2 potential overtime periods, 10 minutes apiece, and of course golden goal rules applied. And the final game, Randolph-Macon out in front of Shenandoah, 2-0, and it looks like that game has gone final as well. So Yellow Jackets come up on top of the Shenandoah Hornets, 2-0. I talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Class of 2022 honored before match got underway. Recognizing the likes of Griffin Phillips, Michael Rendon, as well as Patrick Bakunis, and starting keeper tonight, Justin Ennis. All have done such a fantastic job throughout their tenures. Ennis has been big time this year, making 7 starts, including tonight. 1.26 goal against average. Save percentage just under 70%, but he and that defense have played fantastic. And speaking of that defense, Griffin Phillips has been a starter the last 2 years. Senior has a pair of goals to go with it, but what he and Nick Foley do as those center backs, heading up the defensive challenges they face match in and match out, it is no easy task. Cross intended for Acosta. Rolls all the way back to Morales. And Michael Rendon, another one of those seniors, gets his first collegiate goal tonight. How about that? And also a first for Patrick Bakunis, first start of his Hornets tenure. It's a very special night indeed for the class of 2022. And now everybody on the roster for Lynchburg will be able to say they have a win against Bridgewater. Shot on goal, stopped by Deutsch. Junior gets the save. Less than 4 minutes to be played. Claremont. We get away from Scheller for a moment. Gives back to Auger. Forward for Morales. There you see the two head coaches talking as we're down to 3 minutes left to be played. 30 years of head coaching experience between these two men at the helm for each program. Coach Chris Yeager in his 19th year leading the Hornets. 11-year man Ryan Bennison. We're going to continue to turn around this Bridgewater program. Get it back to where, like I said, where they were in 2018. While Lynchburg in a position as the number 2 seed in the ODAC, looking to go back to back. They were not a top seed in the conference last year, but due to a lot of upsets, obviously, COVID changes everything. You're playing a shorter season. Everything's just a little off compared to normal. This one's chipped up towards the box and now ultimately cleared away by Yabo, also foul called and played. Continue that point. Lynchburg ultimately, despite being one of the lower seeds in the tournament, ends up going all the way through the tournament, beating Randolph 3-2 in the quarterfinals, going out to Hampton-Sydney in the semis, winning 2-1 in overtime. Game-winning goal there from Manzi Shalita, and then hosting the ODAC championship game against Guilford and coming out with the win 5-1. And a chance this year as the higher seed, going to have some home turf advantages, including on Saturday, and then if they win Saturday, more than likely on Wednesday for the ODAC semis. And, of course, as I mentioned, Lynchburg's going to end the regular season 7-0-1 at home. That's a huge advantage. So, certainly in striking position to try to go back-to-back as conference champions. Boyce works back towards the middle of the pitch, has Carl Hare. Lumbering midfielder standing at 6'4". Unable to do anything with the ball at its feet. Rolls back out to Boyce as we have less than a minute to play. Auger gives the head nod, makes it look like he's going to take a shot instead. Feeds Claremont. Watches it go across the end line. Goal kick in down for Deutsch. As the final seconds of the second half wind down, the final update we can give you, if you're a Bridgewater fan or just interested to see how the conference standings shake out, 3.5 minutes or so left in the first overtime period, still scoreless between Hampton-Sydney and Eastern Mennonite. But the final buzzer sounds here in Lynchburg, Virginia, bringing a close to the match between the Hornets and the Eagles. Lynchburg comes out on top 6-1, makes it 7 consecutive wins to end the regular season and finish the regular season perfect at home, 7-0-1. Once again, Lynchburg elevates to 12-4-1 in the season, 8-1 in the conference. Meanwhile, Bridgewater falls to 6-7-2 and 2-4-2 in ODAC play. A lot of really strong performances tonight for Lynchburg. Nick Foley goal and the assist. Michael Rendon gets his first collegiate goal. Patrick Perkunis in his first collegiate start. Was all over the pitch. Also got to talk about Luke Mega. He scored the first on the night. It was his 8th on the season. Carl Makinich also netted his first goal on the year. Kenny Robles added an assist to his season total. He's now got 3. Zach Whelan found his 3rd goal on the year as well. So lots to talk about for Lynchburg tonight, especially on the offensive end. It was a very dominant showing on that end of the pitch. And then on the other side, defense wasn't tested all that often. They did a great job maintaining possession in the midfield and giving the offense ample opportunities. On the night, 29 shots for Lynchburg to just 7 for Bridgewater, and just 1 shot on goal tonight for the Eagles. And, of course, it was the goal coming from number 10, Josh Gilliam, his 2nd on the season. So now if you're a Bridgewater fan, your attention turns to Hampton-Sydney Eastern Mennonite. If that game ends in a tie, there is still playoff hope on the horizon for Bridgewater. But if one of those two teams finds the back of the net and comes out victorious in the golden goal setting, they will be your new 8 seed in the ODAC tournament and will take on Washington and Lee in the first round of the playoffs. That's going to do it for us from Schellenberger Field. Once again, final score 6-1. Hornets get the best of the Eagles. Want to give a quick shout out to our director, Sam Rice, and the rest of our fantastic LHSN broadcast crew. Until next time, my name's TJ Wingert, and we are signing off.